This is the imagination test. So, some people have extremely vivid memory. Not necessarily memory. Like, when you close your eyes and try to envision an apple, it's somewhere between 1 and 5. I mean, there's some people, 5... I didn't know this is possible, but they cannot envision anything in their head, you know? It's, like, completely black. They rationale with, like, numbers, stuff like that. You can't envision stuff at all? Yeah, I kind of suspected you were like that. Also, Dylan, if you want to answer, if you're a 1 through 5.
We talked about this, and we already agreed that I was like a 1.
Yo, that's freaking weird. People can see things in their head. Let me explain. So yeah, I can look at things in extreme scope-like detail. If I look really close at something, I can see the apple, all the white lines and the shine, but I cannot see the whole apple. It goes out of focus. It's actually kind of cool when I think about it. Like, it's a 2 normally. Right here, it's a 2. But then if I zoom in, it's like my brain doesn't have enough processing power. I can see it in extreme detail. I guess I can kind of do that with faces, too. There's one thing that I cannot envision. It's faces. I can't envision faces. Faces are complex. Like, even people... It's weird. I can't envision Dylan's face when I close my eyes. I can't envision my face. I can't envision anyone's faces. The exception is, like, some celebrities can pop into my head, like celebrities and faces I see often, can pop into my head for just a moment if I really focus on it. But everyone's just a body with a blur for their face, you know? No, like, I cannot see a face even if I focus on it.
Okay, I can do that. I can focus on someone's face.
But yeah, like, I walk around, if I'm walking in a crowd in a dream, like I was last night, I'm walking through a sea of blurry faces. Not one is even remotely clear.
I do know about that. I do have that same, like, vision.
I mean,
unless I really focus on them, then I can probably picture a face.
I mean, and then there's some faces that, like, I don't associate as a face. You know, like how you've seen Mega Chad a million places now?
Yeah.
I can envision Mega Chad's face, but I can't envision my own father's face.
Damn, yeah, that does make sense, but it also feels weird to say out loud.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't associate Mega Chad as an actual face. I don't associate some celebrities with an actual face, because I've never seen their face. It's almost like I'm not gonna see their face in person ever, so I don't associate with them as a face, more as an image. I think this is just an oversimplification of something. I'm coming after this scale. Oh, the scale? Yeah, no, it's very, very granular. I mean, obviously, we know there's some people with extremely photogenic memory. We know there's people who can't see anything at all, and there's like a scale. I don't know. It's just the first time, this is the scale that first got me thinking, holy shit, people can't see stuff in their brain when they close their eyes, you know? It's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole mental capacity and just, like, the brain itself to be able to be self-conscious about everything. It's like the whole thing, there's like 50% of the world that if you think of something, you have a little voice in your head that you can think of something. But there's also the other 50% of people that they think solely of, like, images, and they think solely of numbers.
I just don't...
And just that. There's no little voice in their head.
I don't understand how you can think without a voice in your head, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I argue with the voice in my head all the time, you know?
Yeah, no. I get in just, like, heated conversation. I'll just be doing something, and all of a sudden I just hear, ditto. I was like, you get the fuck over here.
I don't know about that.
If I could turn up the voice in my head, I probably would.
Wait, there are voices in your head? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's schizophrenia, right? Where, like, the voices in your head aren't yours. But the voices in my head, it's always been me. It's just like two sides of a coin, you know?
So when you're thinking, or like sometimes when you're reading,
you
think about something.
How do you read without having a voice in your head, man?
They just read the words.
How, though?
The little voice in your head, it can go off and to think about other things. They can't do that. They can only read what's in front of them.
Jesus Christ. I don't understand that. Like, for me, it actually gets...
you read the word. That's how you do it.
You do! Okay, for me, there's a voice in my head that reads the word. Like, I even, like, move my... This is gonna sound gross, but it's not as gross as you think. Like, whenever I'm reading, I move the saliva in my mouth in sync with the syllables, because of the brain, how I'm thinking. Do you not have an inner voice? Yeah, like, when you think how do you think to yourself? Exactly, man. Like, I think, right? Like, even...
Yeah, there's also the thing called an inner monologue, where you're thinking to yourself.
Yeah, I constantly think to myself. Bro, I talk to myself constantly when I'm at work, you know? Not hearing another voice. It's almost lonely, right? I would think. I don't know, for me, it's often when I'm in a situation socially where I just don't know anyone, talking to myself is my own best company. I can think to myself, but it's just me. Well, yeah, the voice in my head is just me, too, but it's still a voice talking in my head. No, I'm not saying, like, someone else. So if it's not your voice, that's schizophrenia. But I can still have conversations with it. Like, it's two sides to a coin, you know? It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's really hard to explain. But, like, when I'm reading something, right? When I'm reading something, and I'm aware that I'm reading it, and then my head is also speaking it up to me, you know? It gets annoying, actually, for me. Like, yeah, I hate it when I'm conscious. It's like when you're conscious of your tongue, you know?
Do you like stream ideas lined up, like games? I did. I want to stream, like, games and stuff like that.
But it's like, the way I understand it, it's kind of the same thing with me. I just don't know what I'd stream, you know, what games.
Yeah.
We don't have...
Like, what I want to.
Like, we don't have a thing. You have a thing. It's Mario Odyssey. We don't.
We don't really have any, like, structure to, like, or any backbone that, like, we can, like, lean back on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm envious that you guys, not you guys, it's just you, but that you can lean back on Super Mario Odyssey if you ever just like, I don't know what else to do today, you know? I don't have anything like that, you know? It's a good stream.
And the big thing for me, again, is just motivation, because that just kills every idea I have, where it's like, oh, I should do this. And then just motivation completely, like, drops.
Yeah, that's why me and Dylan are trying to do this together, so we can both have, you know, motivation, you know?
Yeah.
Like the stream...
Yeah. Goes away.
Sorry. But the stream yesterday kind of made me just want to quit streaming altogether, but...
And also the anxiety and stuff like that is like, you know, just do it, go for it, jump at the deep end. Until then, like, anxiety and just, like, the motivation... complete, like, polar opposites. As I'm just racing to miles a minute, I don't want to do it because of everything that's going to happen. I have no motivation to do it until I start doing something, and then I realize it's such a good idea. And just motivation and anxiety kills every idea that I want to do.
And correct me if I'm mistaken, but isn't that like a big part of depression? I mean, at least that's what Maddie told me.
Yeah, I think the depression. I bet it happens as well. And again, it's just the whole jumping in the deep end, go full send it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole feeling that I had for the longest time about streaming and videos. Is like, well, maybe I'm not funny, maybe I won't be entertaining, maybe this won't happen. Maybe I might be a better support in something, but to do it solely, I just don't know if I can.
Dylan, if you ever have any doubts about that, you are literally the funniest guy I've ever known, and that's not an exaggeration, so...
Thank you. It does help a lot to hear it. But...
Yeah, and everyone in chat always says how funny you are, too, so...
I'm glad, because, I don't know, self-doubt, anxiety...
Yeah, I understand.
A big thing, let's get personal right now.
And by the way, before we continue on so I missed my chance to say this, I feel the same exact way. I feel that I'm not funny. I feel like I'd be a better supporting act. I feel like today's stream has been great, but you've been the main course, you know what I'm saying?
But a big thing that happened recently is I've been diagnosed that my anxiety and depression got way worse. And so I feel like that's just one of the biggest things that have contributed a lot to stuff that has happened in my life. And it's just like the biggest killer of many ideas that I have, or like many things that I feel like would be enjoyable. I just feel like it just kind of kills it after a while. And a lot of this, I know that it would genuinely help to just put some structure and just to do stuff. Like, I physically know that if I start doing something, I'll be, like, a lot happier. I'll enjoy it a lot more than if I didn't do it. But just the motivation and the anxiety beforehand just kills it beforehand.
Yeah, and this is something me and Hip have talked about a lot, you know? He has it a lot worse than I do, but I do suffer from many of the same pitfalls as him, you know? Like, And I feel often bad for comparing myself to him, but you know, I shouldn't.
No.
I've also been told, you know, shouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, no. The worst thing that will ever happen is to be like sad or like mad about something that you have no control over.
Yeah, and that was a big thing. Like for me, I was just super self-deprecating and stuff like that. You know, generally not poggers. I kind of got over that. Like, nah. I mean, objectively speaking, you're not as bad as you think you are, and that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, no. Again, genuinely. Earlier again, you were talking me being like this main course is. I put it this way: it's like we're a team.
Yeah.
And we bounce off each other. We just have great chemistry. We bounce off each other so good.
Yeah, that is one thing that we've always had.
Yeah, we've been talking, and it's the thing that I always like feel that I'm like genuinely like great friends with you is that just like how easy it is just to pick up a conversation and keep going for miles on it.
Yeah. I mean, there's very few people where I can like just actually talk to for an extended period of time. You know, because with me and Brady, we always had to like be doing a game. We wouldn't have anything to talk about otherwise. You know.
Yeah.
Me and Mod Squad had a meeting yesterday, and I just felt so out of touch, like a third wheel. You know, I was just silent. Like every time I made a joke, everyone just would go dead silent. So I just eventually became dead silent.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
And recently, for those who also who don't know, I did a little bit of comedy, maybe like beginning of last year, and I did a little bit of it. And apparently, people like the whole thing is I didn't know if I wanted to be going into comedy because I just didn't think I was funny enough. There was people that would hate me, and I would just be like on the thing. Just figured awkwardness is part of it. Yeah.
Just embrace. I embrace it. Yeah, I just go silent and stop talking.
Yeah, no, but I always thought that like I would just be like the one on stage, and everyone was like, "Oh God, please!" And I finally went, "Screw it! Open mic night. Just going to just speak my routine. I'm just going to go for it." And they were so great. It was one of the like my favorite things to do. And it was actually so good that they called me back and was like, "Hey, would you want to host an open mic night sometimes?" And it's just the big thing to do is,
I mean,
if you're ever,
I haven't even heard.
Yeah, no, that was like last year, and then that hit, and then everything was gone, and I honestly felt like I lost something, and I never thought I would have that type of like thing with like comedy. Is just like I never thought that would be such a big thing in my life. But then things started opening up again, and they called me back. It's like, "Hey, we can host open mic night. You can start doing some of your own routines and stuff." And that really opened up like a lot of like my eyes to a lot of things of like I have just been putting super high expectations that I will never meet.
Yeah.
And if you just do it, you will find out that you're a lot happier. I just put too high of like expectations for that, and I feel like a lot of people put themselves at like a higher expectations than you put a lot of other people, because it's a big thing with the performing arts is why some people don't do the performing arts, because you see these people and you see them at the top. You find they reach the top and you see that. And you think that you'll never be able to get there until you realize they were also had that moment of I don't know if I'll make it. Everyone has self-doubt, and everyone puts them at like a level. And if you put yourself at that peak performance level, you're never going to get there because you're not there. You don't have experience. Everyone has to start out as a beginner. Everyone has that one comedy like show that flops. Everyone has that Twitch stream that gets no views.
It feels terrible after you do it. Yeah.
At point zero.
Yeah.
And you never see them work their way up through, unless like you're like good conversation, like in good like talking with them. But you'll never see them in their like lowest lows getting up to that like that level. And so if you just take them at the high level and never put the experience, the downfalls, the failures that they've been through, you're never going to get anywhere if you just put them as an expectations of they don't fail. They have always been there, because that's not what happened. They failed. They have had those numbers of just less than 100 people. I know a good few channels of like popular channels that have like 1,000, like they usually get like millions of views, and then there's always those ones that get like less than 1,000, like less than 100 even.
I mean, that's why whenever you start a YouTube channel or you start a Twitch channel, you should really never go into it looking for fame. You do it because you enjoy it. You know, you always do it because I want to just stream and have fun, and you know, it's hard, especially like when you're starting out Twitch streaming. At least for me, it often wasn't fun when no one's there. You know, you either have to make your own fun, or you know what we used to do is you know, we'd have fun together. But I mean, having people in chat, it just greatly improves the fun for streams for me, you know? Like, whenever there's no people in it, I mean, at least for me in Dark Platinum, when there's no people in chat, you just feel terrible about the stream, and it's just bad, you know? You just want to delete it. But when there's people in the stream, and you're having fun, interacting, it's one of the most fun experiences, like, out there, you know? I've had the most fun I've had in, like, so long was one of the Twitch streams I had, you know? It was, and I wasn't even doing anything, you know? I was playing Slay the Spire, you know? Yeah, I mean, definitely.
It does. It raises the fun so much. But that's also the thing that I saw, that I just realized. When me and Archer just starting out, we didn't have a fucking clue what we were doing. We just had the game up, desktop audio, and our microphone, and that was it. And now I'm looking at the screen right now. He's sharing his screen, and this is like his own like OBS desktop.
Yeah.
And there are so many scenes. There's so many sources in each one of those scenes. And we had one scene and like 3 sources. And when we started getting good, we switched over to, I think, just Streamlabs OBS, which was the bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, Streamlabs OBS seems good, but I mean, after using OBS, I can definitely see why people call it slobs, you know?
Yeah. No, and just, we switched over because we wanted to see chat, we wanted to have, like, we wanted to see the follows, we wanted to see everything, and chat was dead. There was never anyone there. Anyone who would ever show up we always thought was a bot, never chatted. And it really just kind of like dug into me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, stream exhaustion back then was fucking real. It was hard to keep going, and eventually we did just stop, you know?
That's really one of the reasons why I kind of just like, streaming isn't for me.
And also Dark Platinum just says, chat raises the fun by so much. Yeah, it does. I mean, like, without chat, it's just terrible stream after terrible stream. And you've never had a good stream either, so you just think this is normal. So it's just terrible. And then the stream exhaustion hits. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to stream today. And, you know, it feels terrible. And eventually it's just, like, when you have people in chat, it's just amazing. Which is why I'm so glad, you know, I found Dark Platinum. And I formed Mod Squad by begging for moderators, even if it was a joke. Yeah, I'm glad I just have people here. And as I always tell Dylan, Dark Platinum, you hard carried me with your 101.45. Your time just like, I don't know. That's how I got there, and you know. It's how I have any viewers at all right now, you know? It's how I have a moderator. I mean, sometimes, I think the only person pre-Mod Squad to be in our chat was Llama. And he couldn't even see the stream because his internet's so bad.
Yeah, that long because the internet kept cutting out and he kept leaving.
I'm lucky I have Odyssey. I'm lucky I have you, Platt. That's how I have any viewers. You are how I have any viewers. I'm just hoping that, you know, me and Dylan can kind of elevate, you know,
Yeah.
Elevate to at least, I don't know. Just having a few people in chat always just feels good.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's always been, like, the dream for, like, us. Like, since we even, like, started becoming friends.
Like, a funny story. Back in the day, 3rd grade, Dan TDM was huge. We were mostly me. I don't know if everyone else was. But we were obsessed with Dan TDM. And we were like, alright, we're gonna become like Dan TDM. We made this a stupid, this stupid, what is it? What's it called? Acronym. Dylan is A, Archer is A, and then there was this other guy, and N. So we were D, A, and N, and we were just making these crazy plans to, like, you know, get up there. Obviously, it never worked. We were in 3rd grade, but you get the idea. Like, literally for the entire time we've known each other, which actually is, I don't know, it's about 9 years. We just call it a decade because that sounds bad. Sounds good.
That's the thing for me is just silence. Just, I can't deal with it. I don't have, like, a fear of it. It's just...
Yeah, I mean, okay, I've had this conversation on stream as well. Do you have tinnitus? Like the ring?
I do have minor tinnitus.
Yeah.
When everything is silent, I just have a low ring in my ears, and...
Yeah, I've told you this before, but when it's completely silent for me, the ringing in my ears is so loud it's deafening. It's louder than like right now with the music, with Dylan talking, it's louder than that, but only if it's in perfect silence. So I hate silence. It's terrifying almost.
Oh my god, I love silence. It's the thing that comes with silence is like reflection and perspectives and thinking, and that's like thinking on your own. Yeah, when you're at like serenity and you're at peace, it's good to be in silence. But with me, when it's always peace happens right before something bad or after something bad.
Interesting. I like self-reflection. I don't know. For me, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like self-reflection, reflection always gets like, oh, you're dumb. You're not good enough. You're just terrible. And I'm like, and then I always have to say to myself, no, I'm not. You need to stop saying that. You know, I used to. I just wouldn't stop. You know, but we've already had that conversation.
You know, that's exactly what happens. Is I always put it this way: thinking in silence or thinking on my own, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I can have a great time doing it. If I'm thinking about something in particular, I can either like get something that I'm trying to do, trying to get over something, I can probably do it. But if it's a double-edged sword, so I can just fall into it, and I can fall hard into it, and then it just consumes me, and then I'll just spend just hours on end just trying to get rid of it, being sad about it, reveling in it.
I just want to leave and be alone on a mountain for a week. I mean, yeah. Coming from the mountains and nature, where it's everywhere, like, you know, I literally lived on top of a mountain with just me and my father. You know, I mean, I've been kind of desensitized with nature because I lived out in the middle of Asa and nowhere, just completely surrounded by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's the thing I think of is like wherever you are, you just go numb to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because everyone's like, oh, the mountains, go hiking, do this. And I was like, I could do that in my backyard. Well, why don't you ever? I don't know. Done it already?
Yeah.
Go numb to it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And it's why whenever I like think of something, it's like, well, where do you live? I live in the mountains. So you probably prefer to have a vacation on the beach, right? Yeah. And then if someone lives like near the coast, it's like, well, what's your preferred thing? Oh, being alone, being away from people, being away from the city.
Yeah.
And it's just a constant wanting to get away from the thing that you've been in.
And I mean, you know what my dream vacation is, right?
What?
I mean, obviously, as you can see on stream, right? Oh, sorry, I just realized that the music isn't correct there. But like my dream vacation is kind of just like go to it. I mean, if a cyberpunk city were to exist like the one on screen right now. That would be my dream vacation, but I mean, most cyberpunk cities are based off of Tokyo, you know, Japan. So one of my dream vacations is just to go to Japan, you know?
I don't like the beach. Well, the beach probably doesn't like you either.
Damn, I don't like the beach either. But I know you're a beach guy, so.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to show my camera, but if you were to take a tour of, like, my room, I have, like, 3 surfboards. I got, like, 2 posters of, like, water.
And yeah, and then there's me. I have posters of, like, cyberpunk vistas, you know?
Yeah, no, it's complete surfer dude, just type of, like, aesthetic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I would love to. Like, one of my dreams is just to be in a cyberpunk city, you know? Like, just be able to be in there. Like, that's why I was so excited for Cyberpunk 2077. You know, I was so excited, and it just didn't deliver on, like, the dream I had in my head, you know? It just never delivered. And that's, I think, why I just don't like the game so much, you know? It's just a disappointment. I mean, you know, this is, like, one of my favorite pieces of art of all time right here, you know? Just looking out on
just a bright city.
Yeah, looking out on a city like this at night, you know, seeing all the neon lights, you know, the bustling city. Obviously, you know, rain pouring down, you know, just looking out over it all, you know. Like, I just find this stuff incredibly beautiful. Like,
what is it called? It's the, like, the city that never sleeps, the unsleeping city, or the city of lights. Just all of that.
Yeah.
Where everything is going always.
Like, I do understand why people hate cities, though, you know, like, the noise, the honking, the asshole people. But just the city as a whole. Would you rather live in a place like that, or a place full in peace and nature? Well, that's a good question. I mean, one of my dreams is also to, like, you know, just live in nature. I mean, I'm not immune to the appeal. And I don't know if I'd want to live in a... no, I do want to live in a city, though. I think I would prefer to live in a city. Like, a cyberpunk city, almost dystopian in nature. Without thinking about it, I prefer nature. Yeah, everyone always does. I mean, I just know that I'd want to live in a city like this. You know, huge... a giant, like, a modern apartment, you know? Big, just a full glass wall, you know, so I can just look out. But obviously, a city that I would want to live in does not exist. I want it to be, you know, cyberpunk, futuristic, you know? I feel like a lot of people say they would want to live in nature, but get there and don't like it. Yeah, that's also a good point, actually. I mean...
saying something you don't believe. The best would be where you have access to nature, but also access to a nice store and stuff. Yeah. True. I feel like that's what, like, a small community would be, like a village almost. And that's why I kind of have an ideal life of, like, living on the beach, is like, because it feels more like a village, of, like, a small community where it's like you're on your own, but you always have someone there with you. And that's like my ideal, like, place. But yeah, so I would choose to live in the city, like the outskirts of it.
Yeah. I would want to live just in the core of the city, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, obviously it would be too expensive and whatnot, but just living in the center, very, very center of the city on a high rise in a very, very tech cyberpunk place. I mean, I know I keep repeating myself, but my god, it's just my dream. Like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there are a few places that I just dream of, you know? Like, there's a specific place off the Great Plateau, the lake, you know, with the aspen forest around it. You know the place?
I know that one.
Yeah, you know, just sitting there, looking at the Twin Peaks would be, like, my dream place for a cabin in that aspen forest, or that, you know, the birch forest.
Definitely would be just, like, something that I could, like, get down with.
You know, like, living in Hateno Village, going through the fields, like, you know, basically, this. So, like, this, you know, going through the fields, touching the grass. you know, just on a horse, you know, just living nature, you know. That is my, I mean, but there is the side of me that likes nature, but I gotta be real with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna be able to survive very well without internet, without electricity, you know, in a world like Hitano Village, I just wouldn't be able to thrive as much. And out in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't want to have shitty internet. I wouldn't want to have, you know, like, I've been out in the middle of nowhere, or as I'm out in the middle of nowhere as I can, you know, taking me 10 minutes to get to the grocery store, not being able to order food because I'm so far out. Like,
yeah,
I've lived that life, you know, and I just...
And I know that a lot of people kind of, like, enjoy that, like, wilderness feeling. Everything I do is my own, and I
also,
earned it.
But I do like nature like this, is what I'm saying. That's my dream. But I gotta go with the city. But at the same time, most cities are just, you know, most cities today are just not very good. I mean, I have never lived in a city.
No. Because, like, if you look at it from an outsider's perspective, it's like, wow, the big city, the big apple. Then once you get in there, everyone's like, fuck it, I hate it here.
Yeah, the
Get
noise, the pollution, yeah. I mean, in my idealistic future, I'd want, in my idealistic hyper sci-fi city, it would be no doubt that's where I would want to go. But I don't think I could live very well in either. I mean, I think I'd definitely prefer the city over the nature, you know. I don't know, man. The idea of having hyper technology, I mean, the idea of, like, even the technology we have now coming within the next couple of years excites me, you know.
Technology is one of those things that I feel is, like, equally investing, equally just, like, inspiring where I want to do it, but it's also equally terrifying.
I mean, yeah, it definitely has the capability to be terrifying, you know. But I don't know. One of the most exciting things that, you know, that really is one of my dreams is just fully immersive VR, you know? Like, I would love to just... I mean, one of my biggest dreams for a while is just fully immersive Breath of the Wild, you know? I wouldn't want to go around killing things, you know? I just want to live a life, you know, with sentient AI, you know? Just go around, feel the grass, feel the wind, you know? Have the music play in my head.
Yeah.
The calm piano with intermittent breaks and stuff. Able to climb the trees. I mean, that's... The idea has, like, really kept me sane and stable and alive for years. Yeah. You know, there's always that happy place, and for a very long time, that was my happy place. And it still is, you know? It's just not as prevalent as it used to. You got a happy place? Like a place that you can go to and think about and reminisce, you know?
I haven't thought about it in a while. No.
Yeah, take your time. While you think about it, I can... Like, my more recent, obviously, is...
Yeah, definitely have that happy place of... I walk out, look at, like, a sunset, grab a lawn chair and sit on the beach just to look out and just watch the sunset. It's very cliche, but it's the one that's always been, like, my solid, like, happy place. Oh, damn, that looks really good.
Yeah. So you can ignore this person. I don't care about the woman in there, and it's not me being horny, just so we're clear. I just like the idea of, like, looking out with a large window over the cyberpunk neon city in the background, you know?
I've done that before, where it's like, you just open up and you see just everyone busy, the lights, and just everything waking up with you, or everything going to sleep, but never fully, like, stopping. Everything's active. It's just the beautiful lights, like the low mist that's happening usually.
Yeah, like the low mist, the rain
at
night.
Bottom of the streets, but just to look out and just see.
And you know what Cyberpunk made me realize? Cyberpunk 2077?
What?
I mean, it showed a cyberpunk city, sure, but in the daytime, it doesn't look as beautiful, you know? It just looks like a polluted city like any other, you know? It just kind of showed me the reality. Like, of course, an idealistic utopia like this could and will never exist out of, you know, games and VR, you know. I think humans fundamentally are just too flawed to make that kind of scenario, you know. But it doesn't stop me from dreaming of the possibilities. I mean,
where do we go from here?
I can go on for hours. Another thing, like, I guess you could say my ideal date, but it's not really about the date. I mean, the bad thing about cities is the light pollution, you know? You can never look up and see the stars. And I love space, you know? Like, when when Winter Star followed, you could see, like, the alert was literally just space. Like, the galaxies and the fog, you know? Almost the milky fog that encompasses the sky, you know? Okay, this isn't the best example, but, like, you get what I mean, you know? Just, like, the spacey expanse. I mean, obviously, that I don't even think that's real, but I can't find the classic image of space from the ground. But I just think that stuff is so beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
But that I don't know. I'd love to just have a date, but again, it's not about the date. It's just, you know, me laying down on like a cool grass in an evening with the crickets in the background, just looking up at the wide black expanse, the foggy stars peppering the sky, you know?
Yeah.
That's another one of mine.
I think that's like what Serenity would be.
Yeah, of course. And that always happens to me whenever I look at anything, like, from at a large expanse. You know, when you can, like, you're on top of something and you can just see forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, it always happens with me like that. Like, I'll never be able to capture this well in a picture, you know? You know, I can only have the memory, and pictures don't do it justice.
Oh yeah, did we bore people out of...
We bored them so bad. I thought it was a very interesting conversation.
I did. I was invested in that.
I mean, you know, this is always kind of the thing, like, bro, we'd make the best fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
Dylan is going to be a podcast one day, and I'm never going to let that go.
Yeah, chilling with Dylan, and then I'll be the guest star every single time.
Every day, chilling with Dylan, starring Archer.
Yeah, I mean, we could really talk about hours on so many different topics.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally just talked for like an hour.
Who is still here?
Anyway, thank you everyone for coming to my stream. I had a fucking blast. I'm glad I had a really solid stream to back up yesterday's. Did you have fun, Dylan?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm glad. Alright, so make sure to check out Mod Squad. You know, they're the mods. And obviously, Dylan, my best friend, obviously. Anyway, make sure to check out my Discord. You can donate if you want. But we couldn't get it to work, so I don't even know if it works. What else we got? Oh, yeah, my YouTube. Make sure to check out my YouTube. Has all of our adventures on there now. All right, bye guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the single. Nah, I say singular follow as if that's a bad thing, but I don't mean it as a bad thing. Thank you. All right, bye now. Bye.